Hello everyone, this is Dragon, and welcome back to another episode of Fire Emblem Heroes. Once again, we have made it past tier 38, so we are staying in Vault. Feels good, man. And overall, not too bad of a season. We of course have both bonus mythics, and we even have legendary Nana bonus to top things off, so here we go. I'm definitely thinking about changing our layout at some point. I just need some time to sit down and think about what we should repull in our next defense. But of course, the gimmick of this team is that it doesn't really do anything. So we basically just have to run because of course Mirror Bliss is in 7 slots, so you can bait turn 1 pretty risk-free as long as your unit can survive. That's pretty much it. The only prerequisite. And that's the problem, of course, because you have units here like Harmonized Roy that does not care about Edelgard at all, and in fact you can call Fuma on the second hit for even more overkill, so not recommended unless you have a 1 cooldown special to absolutely nuke Harmonized Roy on the counter, but then at that point, at some point, Legendary Sigurd is going to attack, proccing Holy Knight Aura, so that Legendary Nana could have attacked as well, and that definitely would not have ended well for Edelgard either. But conceptually, yeah, you can definitely just hit end turn on this team, especially since Mirror Bliss is in slot 7. But speaking of Mirror Bliss, our last match of the season was probably the worst match of the season. Because we mistapped too much. But it worked out in the end. Essentially it boiled down to I was trying to proc Gale Force I was essentially going for a mean Gale Force, but I was having Regan and Legendary Nana take out most of the enemy team. Then I realized partway through I wanted to not end the match without breaking the structure, so then I tried to do something to fling one of my units, like Legendary Julia in range, so I could distract one of the dancers or whatnot, but yeah. Let's just say that didn't go well, and the result is that we had to sack the unit. I ended up sacking Legendary Julia because, well, again, I mistapped. I was intending to effectively sack Regan, but it ended up being sacking 2 units, so not the end of the world. We're still in tier 39, which is all I really care about if I'm going to be scoring this much on offense. Yeah, overall offense matches were pretty straightforward, just like how this person's match is pretty straightforward because they can just hit end turn advantage. Pretty solid, nothing too mind-blowing here. There's 0 checks advantage on this team if you have any sort of technique. As long as you can attack twice, you're pretty much set. The only unit that could really realistically give you any trouble is Legendary Sigurd.
A summer to remember.
And maybe Duma if you only attack once and you actually somehow let his damage reduction proc. But other than that, offense this week was definitely interesting because I decided to try not running Brave Veronica this week. So we had both Legendary Julia and Legendary Nana on our team, and for the most part it was a pretty good duo because Legendary Julia can tank some ranged units. Unfortunately in the last match she was nowhere near close to tanking, I think it was Summer Micaiah, because low speed res, plus a bunch of attack and res boosting skills, and blue feud, sorry, B-feud too. Yeah, Legendary Julia, not a great matchup for Legendary Julia whatsoever. She wasn't even close to tanking, because of course the problem was we didn't have enough res to prevent the double. the Brave weapon attack on Summer Micaiah, and with Ruptured Sky at 1 cooldown, yeah, that's not gonna end well. Not even close. So, unfortunately there, we couldn't hit end turn, but a lot of other teams we could hit end turn. And again, having the, I guess you can call it close ward, pretty darn useful against dragons and bridge defense. You can use it to take out save dragons in particular.
As the years turn
during our enemy phase, which is a useful option to have. We definitely didn't always use it, but again, definitely a great option to have. And here, of course, Great Marianne with Mystic Boost is going to do perfectly fine, because she has quite a bit of res here, especially with Panic Manor active. Not good benefits. Gonna get a nice juicy glimmer, not enough for the kill. But you can see here that she of course has more res than Julia. That's what matters. Unfortunately we can't get a dance off on Legendary Julia there, so that's a rip.
as the years turn.
But at the end of the day, we're just merged Plonky on defense. We had Odor. Bonus this week, 100 plus 10 Duma. So at most we can lose 30 lifting match, which is nice. Definitely better than not having a bonus unit or any merge mythic, which means we can lose that move to 60 match. Straight up double the amount. So of course, Duma attacking to Marianne, not a great recipe for success. And of course, they have multiple ways of dealing with Duma. It's not too big of a deal for them to be able to easily grab the Ether Structure and close out the match. Especially now that it has Dragon Effect available on some of their other units. They just have to be careful of Vantage, but again, Duma can never kill Marianne, so it's not too big of a deal.
I'm sorry.
There you have it. Nice amount of damage to close out the match. I'm definitely not sure though, I keep thinking about it every week. It just becomes, what team could we reliably use during Astra season? I just don't know. If we had a plus 10 Elamine, then maybe I would consider Entern Fiesta. That would be fun for daily damage calcs. The actual gameplay experience probably pretty boring.
You're wide open.
If you can shut down certain threats, that's pretty much it. And if you understand AI and daily damage calcs, it then just comes down to, did the enemy set up their units well enough to deal with Elamine and company? That's basically all it boils down to. So, Legendary Julia at least can deal with the 5 Brave Factor, that's about it. And well, the key there is of course Aegis is not with rocks. So theoretically, if Legendary Julia actually had more attack,
Don't
should
forget
be
to
able
oil
to
out.
one-shot Brave Factor all one attack, but that's not going to happen of course. And well, Legendary non-hit bonus, not particularly useful, it's just more for offense, where she has more bulk. And the extra attack and speed is always welcome on offense because of the HP inflation. You can never have too much attack, except in
Just
some
like
instances where we were missing heavy blade proc, or
There's
we just
nothing
straight
to
up missing
fear.
kills, which did not double. Definitely nice to have the extra attack and speed. But for instances where we would want to proc Gale Force, there is such a thing as too much attack, so... Well, here, Ashera going to nicely proc Legendary Julia's Ice Bird with speed preempts. So that's definitely an overkill and a half.
My end?
Ripperonis. I like the idea of speed preempts on her, but not in this instance. But she can get a reasonably high attack shot, it's just not
Just
that
like
high to pick
Fafnir.
up one shot from the post. like many mages, there's no option to make damage reduction, so that's kind of a problem if you're trying to use speed preempt. And while they should be perfectly fine at this point, it's not like Duma can actually take out units at this point. Good amount of damage though.
And this.
Just that Ethereum company is gonna do exactly lethal. That's unfortunate, not that it matters, but looks like they're not gonna pick up ether structures because they did too much damage. But yeah, on offense, the thing is, we can't reliably use, for example, a single Gale Force team. There are some teams that just straight up shut that kind of strategy down. You basically would need to hard tech build an entire Gale Force team just for that one match, of course. Then you would suffer in other matchups, so not the greatest idea. But once again, our opponent here baiting turn 1, which is optimal.
Withdraw your blade.
Well, you don't have to bait turn 1, but the idea is you
No
just
mercy.
bait because Mayor Wilson in 7 slot, so you basically have no drawback
No mercy.
to the shenanigans. Here I don't like blue flame. Bonfire is just straight up better for damage, but I mean, Arena's still right? And while here Brave Hector, he's going to take quite a beating from Legendary Julia. Survives because of Element, of course. We had a dance follow-up, of course,
I won't
instead.
back down.
Brave Edelgard at least holding the fort on near safe side. Pretty expected though, because he's basically just the ball of stats. And second, for follow-up attack with 80% follow-up attack damage reduction. So if you're not doing a ton of damage on the initial attack, then you're probably not doing well. And unfortunately for us, Legendary Nana is hit by their max level Bright Shrine. So that is unfortunate. That would have been a kill, of course, without the Bright Shrine. But when you're debuffing Legendary Nana's attack by effectively 22 points, yeah, you're going to be able to tank,
I'll cut my
even if
own
you're
path.
green. Because of course HP inflation as well. Feels bad, man. And of course, Brave Edelgard's is actually active nearby all our allies, but the Bright Shrine is the biggest one. If they had Panic or something on top, then even better for them. But
No
yeah,
mercy.
pretty expected tank given the circumstances. Minus 10 attack on Legendary Nana is a huge deal, especially in that matchup where you're attacking twice, and you have dealt damage scales off for your attack. You're losing out at least 12 damage per attack, which is 24 against Brave Edelgard. Feels bad, man. But what can you do? And now Duma is just chilling, doing his own little thing. And here they self-chip themselves, and Duma has Vantage. So, that one means I'm able to pick up the kill here on Duma. So even though Duma's at a whopping 1 HP, they chip down Brave Edelgard with Bolt Tower, so she can't take 0 damage from Duma. That's unfortunate. Realistically, they should have won that match, but they didn't do their daily damage calc, so kind of awkward. Or they forgot they can't double Duma, because Brave Hector didn't have enough attack, I believe. But once again, another Brave Hector, Brave Edelgard combo. Pretty much at this stage of Ether Raid's offense, the most budget staples for whatchamacallit,
On your guard.
for stage units that you can get as free to play. Although for Brave Edelgard
You
on
can't
your
stop
stage,
me.
there's other budget options like Arden, except Arden definitely not as reliable in certain matchups. And of course, the thing with Brave Hector is that you actually have to survive in instances like this, and that's why Hardy Fighter Brave Hector is so popular, is because you have to deal
You
with
can't hide from me.
guaranteed follow-ups like that if you don't run Hardy Fighter. That's why Hardy Fighter is honestly insanely powerful.
I
The
won't
damage
back
reduction
down.
shenanigans of it is fine. That's great. especially with Aegis or Pavis, you get that 75% damage reduction with the -5 damage reduction on top. But the icing on the cake is legitimately the
I shall protect
preventing all those guaranteed follow-ups, because otherwise units running Hardy Fighter would actually run into a lot of trouble. So it's definitely something that I don't know if people necessarily underrate it, but it definitely was not the first thing people looked at. A lot of people looked at when they saw the effects.
You're finished!
But it definitely wreaks havoc, especially on units that have some way in their kit to prevent follow-up attacks when they opponent. So for example, Thunder the Thune, who's nearby an ally, increased bases, Brave Hector, essentially just existing, because he's going to be enemy phasing with Hardy Fighter most of the time, so fantastic option there. And so yeah, overall pretty solid as a skill, but yeah. Here, Brave Edelgard, one of her setbacks, she's too slow. So for guaranteed follow-up attack, she can't double Duma, which means they actually just straight up charge Glimmer for Duma. Not entirely sure why they would do that. What's more curious, honestly, is the fact that they did that in the first. Maybe they were just too trigger happy on that, but Duma doesn't have Bolt Fighter here, so he doesn't actually ever double anyone, so he's just trying to bank on one-shotting units, so
You can't stop
of course people don't do it really well, so it probably wouldn't have mattered that much. Actually, Thor was also in range, but yeah, I don't know. But here we have the not-so-budget save units. The Son of the Thune, definitely one of the stronger save units with Hardy Fighter Aegis. But, of course, she has damage output problems. That's definitely a big issue. And, of course, she doesn't have a guaranteed follow-up attack built into her weapon. So you have to contend with those issues when you're running Hardy Fighter on her.
Enough,
Damage
weakling.
outputs, guaranteed follow-up attack. The thing
How
is, if you get to attack a
irritating.
ton of times, at some point there is a window where her special is not proc. That is definitely an issue. But here at Legendary Julia, why is Thor not doubling there? Oh. Okay. I'm not sure about that one. Legendary Julia versus Sunday Thune sounds kind of nasty. And Legendary Julia has a guaranteed follow-up attack, but again, since there's no Hardy Fighter Aegis,
protect the
that's
world.
kind of a problem. Bonfire is not doing plus 60
I
damage.
call on the divine light.
Not to mention the fact that Legendary Julia probably has some damage reduction against her. I don't know. But now, Legendary Nana Nuke, except for the fact that she's too slow,
got
that is definitely a problem with Legendary Nana being too slow. Because against super fast units like this Manuela here, especially since there's Unity attack speed form, you have to contend with the issue that in Keith Raid there's this thing called HP inflation, so one-shotting is incredibly difficult. So in those instances, you really want to be able to double, but you can't, because you're too slow. And while here we have double green saves, I personally don't like green as the car save. There's just too many red units I don't particularly like on defense, where I feel like far save on green is not the greatest. Mirror save on green is okay. You do have to deal with units like Brave Seliph now, which can be an issue. Pretty large issue at that, especially with miracle memes. But otherwise, if
Withdraw
it's
your
just stat
blade.
sticking, then you can definitely get away with green mirror save for sure.
Know the strength of Asgard.
I definitely think red mirror save is suspicious, to say the least. certain matchups, but yeah, we don't have to worry about it here. Legendary Julia is going to tank here with that damage reduction, but that's about it.
You can't hide from me.
Julia is of course not going to do too well. Swapping 8 damage. Yeah, most of the units in our team can't actually do any damage, real damage, so kind of a problem. The only units that could reasonably do any damage is Legendary Nana and Legendary Julia, but they're not. Legendary Julia at least has the res-based damage reduction, which is nice. And at least we got Healing Tower here, which is nice, but we're probably going to be able to tank here again, because we have too much res compared to what's going to do them, and that's a dance now. And they brought their Naga up for easy kill. Well, not the greatest there. They probably should have recognized that this was going to happen though, because they already had saw Legendary Julia tank Affinity Arm once. So, not entirely sure what they were expecting there by bringing up Naga. At this point, they probably should not lose. Legendary Julia being tankier for res-based damage reduction. Just that the rates often for res isn't that high. Especially since I don't think I was running a... I don't think I even have a mythic that buffs res. Could be wrong on that. Astro mythic, I should say. I forget who buffs res on offense for Astro. Primaria's speed, Dragon's attack. I was running Naga and she buffs defense. That was definitely helpful though. Buffing defense for Legendary Julia. A lot of tanks in certain instances, but hey look, Duma's only allowing together to attack once. It's totally useful when you get one shot. And well, here we are. Looks like we got ourselves. This honestly feels kind of old school. You have Altina. She is plus 10, that's probably why they're bringing her. And you have Legendary Corrin, who most people have probably not seen in forever. So that's interesting. You don't see Legendary Corrin too often nowadays, just because her gimmick back in the day was her damage reduction with stat sticking. And so in this day and age where she is definitely not good enough to be a stat sticker anymore, that is definitely a problem. So let's see. Can Fallen Edelgard go on fire? No, because there's not enough for damage reduction from out using her. And now she has set up nothing. Except that Legendary Julia is in Winds of Mercy range, I guess, so at least Mirabilis is probably going to get to attack someone.
Enough, weakling!
Well, Tina spotting Odor when he's
Goddess, guide me.
Feels better. And they got the Gravity Beam. But Legendary Sliggard, of course, being in range to kill.
This is it for you.
64, oh, not bad. Alright. And yep, they didn't even bait here, so that is a dance if I've ever seen one. And once again, the unit out of our save range, so that's a free kill. We definitely would not have been able to pick up a kill on Edelgard there.
Leave.
Because we were down HP. And of course we can't actually charge up our special, it's kind of a problem. Legendary unable to tank there, feels bad man. Maximum damage reduction, I believe, doesn't tank, so was it 8 times 2 or something? I think that's what happened. I don't know. Not really paying attention at this point. Pretty straightforward antics. Probably not gonna one-shot Duma. Oh, never mind. Wait, damage reduction isn't active, right? There's no allies nearby. He was dead. And well, it's just gonna be a repositioned Moon Loop, so now they can just take out Legendary Nana I imagine. They got the gravity from fallen stars, so harmonize.
Hold a grudge if you must.
And of course, the important thing is that legendary flood actually doubles there. But they could have just moved legendary flood out of the way because again, gravity means. Although then it would have been difficult for them to pick up the last 2 kills on the final turn here. It would have been slightly non-trivial, but still a win for them nonetheless. And with that, that is the end of our replays. Not too bad on defense overall. Minus 50 on defense, which just so happens to make sure that if we lost... Essentially, there was a chance we could have missed out on 2 Dragon Flowers if we lost 30 left 3 times, but didn't happen, which is nice. But again, it's 2 Dragon Flowers, probably not too big of a deal. Anyways, all the usual stuff here. Scoring alright in Allegiance battles still. But the big thing is Arena. I did take the time to actually go for max score. It took way too long, but we've done it. We have peaked in Arena. We also have plenty of defense wins as well. Way more than you see here, but that's not what I wanted to show. If you want to see how many dueling crests it took quite a bit. So, we got the first 3 pretty early, but then it took forever to get the next. It took 70 something crests, I think, to get the 4th match, and then a good amount more efficient to get the last one, but we did it. Matches were not too difficult. We just had to make sure we didn't get memed on by Duo Dagger plus Duo Crom shenanigans. Remember that Legendary Myrrh has Warp Bubble because we have Aerobatics and Wings of Mercy on Flumeria. So there was one match where I was like, wait, why can't Flumeria dance? It was fine though because Legendary Julia could just enemy phase Legendary Myrrh like no one's business. So overall, we have peaked in Arena. Probably won't get anything better than that for a while. But until then, we'll be back when the results drop in.